Hey, what's up, everybody? Yesterday was an eventful day out here on out where I live. The snake and the rabbit. So I go out onto my front porch area yesterday just to quickly trim and shave. I do it outside, and it's amazing because in that moment I thought, where are the snakes? Why haven't I seen any snakes? Because here in California right now, after the months of crazy rain, there are more bugs than ever. There are more mice chasing the bugs. There are more lizards. There's just life is thriving like crazy right now as a result of all the water and all the rain over the last few months. So now is snake season. A lot of different types of snakes. So I go out and I'm like, where are the snakes? And as I turn to my left, unbelievable, there's a rattlesnake to the left in an area where I'm building a porch. And for any of you who are on my Patreon and will be looking at my Instagram, I'm going to be. You'll see the porch that I'm building. So I'm in my undies at this point, but I'm like, okay, I gotta take care of this snake because it's not the best thing to have rattlesnakes around where you live because they're dangerous, and the best thing to do really is to there are these special long tools that you can grab them and then put them in a bucket and then take them down to a rescue or whatever it is, just animal treatment care or facility, something like that. So I run out, I put my shoes on, still in my undies, and I go around from behind, and as I approach, I see one of the most cutest but also brutal scenes ever. And it is a tiny little newborn rabbit. Where I live, I've been observing rabbits and their parents just playing, and while I work, I see them all the time. So they must have had some babies. And I see one of their little babies right in the middle, totally just frozen, not even moving. And right behind it, just a couple of feet away, is a young rattlesnake about to get it. So I guess my instincts take over, my protective instincts, and I start yelling, "Run, rabbit, run!" The rabbit gets away, and then the snake starts to get away, and unfortunately had to. I didn't want that snake to get away and then grow into a big snake and then be this dangerous rattlesnake on my land. And it was hard to do, but had to take that snake out. But in the future, I will be getting the long tools so that I can keep these animals alive, because I absolutely, it really hurts me to take any life except for mosquitoes and cockroaches, because they're yeah. But any other life, it really hurts me. So it was difficult, but there were a lot of lessons as well, because I had to leave to Orange County after this, and I left the body of the snake out there, and when I came back home late that night, and I go out to just have a peek to see if the body of the snake is still out there in the patio area, I see that there's a little dead bunny rabbit right next to it. And it was almost as if nature was trying to, or not even trying, but nature was giving me a lesson that nature is balance. And now I look out there and I see a little tiny bunny, and I see a little rattlesnake, and I have an idea of what I'm going to be doing with their bodies. It's all, I don't want to say it's like a symbol of good and evil, but they are on the opposite ends of the spectrum, whether it's the delicate, kind of loving, softer side of nature, and the brutal, the predator, and then the prey. And they have different energies, those animals, like a snake and a rabbit. They're just very different. One is cold-blooded, one is warm-blooded, and they just look different. The feeling that they give you is different. One attracts you, one seems to be more love, and then one seems to be more fear, at least to us humans. That's the sense we get. So, yeah, I'm going to be building some. I build these rock stacks, you can call them. So I'm going to do two pillars out in the backyard. I'm going to do one. I'm going to bury the rabbit under one and bury the snake under the other, and just to remember this lesson from nature, that nature is balance. And even though I am part of nature, I can't really disrupt that balance, and it's something that has to be accepted, that life and death, are both part of the engine, that drives this, good versus evil, night versus light, up versus down. There's always like two things going on. There's always like this driver, or the yin and the yang, this constant conflict, or whatever it is that just drives, that keeps things moving. So it was an interesting experience I wanted to share with everyone, and just a reminder that, you see, I went out there and perhaps from my perspective, I was doing something that I thought was good, or at least in my nature, protecting, these rabbits that have been growing around where I live, almost are kind of like part of my family. So I was responding from my nature, but then nature responded to me, and it was an interesting thing. And to anyone out there who's watching these videos, and going through different things, life is amazing, and the energy that we can get from different people, good energy, bad energy, remember, at the end of the day, it's really the thoughts, I'm finding, that are creating that energy. Sometimes, yes, we can feel there is energy to be felt, but a lot of the time, it's the thoughts that we put, or the beliefs that we put in those moments. Like if we see someone, we might not be aware that we have thoughts associated with the things that they do to us, and the thoughts that we put on those actions or whatever, it's the thoughts that can create the energy in us, the positive energy, the energy that we feel, just fulfilled and whole, and we feel good, or the energy that we feel drained and like hurt, or down. So if thoughts have so much power as the filter, or the way that we see and view the things around us, then it's important that if we're going to be in that world of thoughts, that we constantly, or as often as we can, work on being aware of those thoughts that we're having, and make sure that we guide them. So always asking, like, does this thought, does this belief, does this mental narrative that I'm having, is it helping? Is it helping my life? Eckhart Tolle and a lot of other great teachers, they talk about being present, right? Being present, being here, being in your senses, being with your senses. So what that means is, just take a moment to smell, to like come in and how does the air smell? How does it feel going through your nostrils? How does your body feel? How does your energy feel? We can get so lost in Maya, right? The illusion, and Maya, it's the world of thoughts, the fake world, the dream world, the world that we're creating in our head, right? The real world is not up in our head. It's all around us, and it's the world we experience when we're children. We're just here. We're in the moment. We're right here, right now. We're absorbing, and it's an amazing feeling. There isn't much thought going on. It's really about being in the moment, in the now, in the present, and returning to that or accessing that. All it takes is for you to take it seriously, and for you to want it, and for you to train it. And it's how much do you want it? How much do you need it? And usually for a lot of us, it's when we suffer, when we go through a breakup, or when we go through something difficult or devastating, and that's when we will take this seriously and do the meditating, do the yoga, and do the work, because it's not hard. It's like anything. It's like riding a bike. It's like getting in shape. It's like being better at work, smashing it at work, being good at chess, being good at jiu-jitsu, being good at anything. It just takes attention. It takes your time, and it takes your energy. And the unfortunate thing is that we feel like we don't have time for that. We feel like we've got all these other things that are more important. But for anyone out there who has experienced going into that zone, returning back into that present zone, any of you who have experienced that will totally 100% understand why that is so worth it and so important, so powerful. Because when we slip into that state again, and our thoughts wind up becoming of secondary importance to the moment we're in, the existence that we're experiencing, when thoughts become secondary, when Maya, the illusory world, the world of the illusion, when Maya is no longer as important as our real life, the feeling is unbelievable. It's so energizing, and good things start to happen in our life. We no longer respond out of fear, because thoughts, when we're in Maya, there's a lot of thinking. Oh, this person sucks, this person's out to get me, what's this person's intentions? This person's good, this person's bad, I like this, I dislike that. It's a lot of judgment and a lot of thinking, and it's extremely exhausting and energy draining. So it's not that if we are present all the time, we're going to be in a state of eternal, we're going to never age, and we're going to be healthy, and it's not about that. We're going to age, we're going to grow, our bodies have this natural cycle, but it's about how much you're going to get to enjoy your experience, and how much goodness are you going to attract into your life. Because for me, without question, whenever I'm in those states is when great things come into my life, and have come into my life. My home, great relationships, excelling, opportunities, money even, everything starts to click and work, and I'm no longer concerned with the bickering and resistance of when I'm in the other state, trapped in the other state. And there's so many things that pull us down into that other state, and it can be, above all, people that do that, because people who are suffering and struggling tend to transmit and radiate pain and suffering and unconsciousness, right? Unconsciousness is basically when they're in Maya, they're in that world, they're in their head. You're in your head, and hey, look, I'm sure that most people out there are, even people watching this, are in your head. You're even either aware of it or you're not. There's just constant mental storytelling, constant mental narrative, right? And I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who are transitioning, who are spending time in Maya, in their heads, but also in presence, and they're training, right? It's like jiu-jitsu, there's different stages. There's white belt, blue belt, purple, brown, black, right? So we can strengthen our ability to be free of Maya, or in the movie The Matrix, they call it the Matrix, right? The fake, false reality, and then the real world, right? Which is when they unplug from the Matrix and they're in the real world. So, a lot of people can bring us out of our conscious state. Conscious state, it's just a way of saying bring us out of being here and now, and will take us back into our head, back into Maya, right? Back where they are, because that's where they are. That's where a lot of them are dwelling and living. So communicating with them, it can be difficult. We're either going to pull them out of Maya, or they're going to pull us into Maya. So, like I said at the beginning, this is not something that's reserved for anyone special. We can all access this. It's just a lot of us, first of all, aren't even aware of any of this, which is fishy to me. I find that pretty suspect. That's such important, powerful things, because I've experienced it. Many people have experienced it. When you are in that state, it's a totally different way of living. And good things come, and we're in alignment. We flow. It's what the state is that athletes aim to get into. It's when Mariah Carey says, she trains, and then when she performs, she just free falls. She's in the now. She's in the moment. She's not in her head. It's when a cage fighter like Conor McGregor or Nick Diaz or any great fighter, when they're in the cage, they're not going to be in Maya. They're not going to be in their heads. They're going to be in the moment. They're going to be responding, reacting. It's like any athlete who just gets in that zone. It's like a dancer who just lets go. It's why we're so attracted to great athletes, great artists, great musicians, great cooks, great chefs, because the products, what they create, what they share is from that place. And it's the most fascinating, attractive, desirable thing, whether you're conscious of it as a human or not. And that's why humans are drawn to that. We're drawn to that life, to that energy, all cultures around the world refer to it. It's in the islands, in the Hawaii or New Zealand, or those islanders refer to it as mana, life energy. In Asia, they refer to it as chi. There's all humans around the world. We have identified this life energy, and when we can tap into that state and live from that place, life is, you can't compare it to when we're living from the mind, when we're living from fear. This is why so many people are repulsed by a character like Donald Trump, because his entire life is coming, his entire way of living is coming from Maya, from the world of fear and suffering and judgment and thinking, right? Because the mind, yes, is super powerful, but the heart is much more powerful, much more powerful. And the heart isn't about thinking and planning and figuring out. The heart already knows what to do. So, training this, meditation is a method, but it's not just meditation, as I said, a great chef knows how to do this, a great artist knows how to do this. When you see a painting by Vincent Van Gogh or any great artist, why is it so special to look at the flowers or the chair? Like Vincent Van Gogh did a chair. He just painted a chair, but why is it so like special? Why is it so special? Because of the way he saw that chair. He was looking at it not with his mind. He was looking at it from being in. He saw it like being in, let's say, the present moment. He was there. He really was absorbing and witnessing and experiencing that chair. He wasn't looking at the chair and thinking, that's a chair. He wasn't looking at the chair and thinking, oh, maybe I should do this or that, or if I do paint it like this, people will like it, and if I paint it like that, maybe it will be better. He literally was in the moment. He was right there, and he didn't even think that it's a chair. He just sees an object there, and he feels its life. And that in itself is an incredible talent, but someone like Vincent took it an extra step and was able to bring it out and put it on a painting so that we can all see what it looked like to him, right? So we all can access this. You don't have to be Vincent Van Gogh or a great martial artist or anything like that. We all can access this. I choose, for me, the best, easiest, quickest way for me to get into that state is through meditation. All I do is I sit and I focus on my breath. I focus on how does the air taste? How does it smell? How does it feel? Is it cool? Is it warm? The sounds that it makes. And I try to be with my breath as long as I can. So, there's no rules. You can do it for 5 minutes. Just close your eyes, sit, lay down. There's no rules. You can do it in any way. The point of it is to bring yourself into this moment. Why is it so hard for us to do that? Why is it that as soon as we sit, we keep going back to Maya, to our thoughts? Well, it's because that's what we've been training. That's what we've been doing. Whatever you do, you will get better at. It's just as simple as that. The more you do something, the more I think and I judge, the better I will become at doing that. The more positive I am, the better I will be at being positive. The more I train or do jiu-jitsu, the better I will be at jiu-jitsu. So we're so blessed and lucky to be able to shape ourselves in this way. We can recondition, condition, our brains, our minds are elastic. Until deep into our old age, we're able to do this. We're able to mold and shape ourselves. It just takes time and discipline and a desire to do that. We're like a tool that can be shaped to pretty much achieve anything. And yes, when we are trapped in the worst, hardest states of Maya, which is addictions, it's deep. When we're deep into Maya, it just takes little baby steps and patience to come out of it, slowly come out of it. And knowing that there is another side itself is enough for most people to come out of that addiction. The problem is that a lot of people, they don't believe that there is something else. But once you get a little taste of it, and you know that it's there and that it exists and that there is this other way of living that is so much more energizing and full of bliss, and when we align and tap into it, it's like a slipstream. When we get into that slipstream, the current, there isn't much work to be done. It just takes us, and we will know what to do and how to do it. We will not be paying attention to things. Remember when we were children, did you pay attention much to like what adults were talking about? Or no, we were just playing and we were doing and we were responding and we were going with our nature. It was all within us. We knew what to do, where to go, and how to behave. It's the adults that we had in our life, the environment that we had in life that would teach us from an early age and imprint onto us, but we can always free ourselves of that. For some people, yes, it's going to be more difficult than others because of your life, because of your environment, and that's why it's important to not only do this inner mental work, because first of all, it's going to come from listening, and it's going to come from thinking at first. Like you're going to think, oh, this makes sense. I should, how am I going to navigate out of this world of thought? It could be that it's going to need to begin with certain thoughts, more positive thoughts, hopeful beliefs. And those hopeful beliefs are like our angels. They're like our guides. And they're going to guide us to what is referred to in the Bible, the kingdom of heaven, right? The kingdom of heaven. Eckhart Tolle, I went and I saw him recently, and it was in Los Angeles at a really cool event. And the kingdom of heaven, he says, is that present moment. I couldn't agree with him more. It's that peace, it's that inner peace, right? So it's worth it. It's worth it, not just because there's so much power that's going to come from that. So much bliss and pleasure, and when you're aligned in that, for me, like whenever I'm aligned in that state is when everything comes into my life, people, success, good things. And whenever I get disaligned from it is when I begin to suffer. It's not just me, it's a lot of us. And we suffer, and if things get so bad, it's usually when we start to question and ask, what am I doing that's wrong? Maybe I should do things differently. Alright, so anyway, I hope this video helps, and I'm sending everybody out there a lot of love, and if you're wondering what I'm holding in my hand, I'm sure many of you will know what that is. I'm not really big into, I don't have a crazy crystal collection, but I've always collected rocks. And from everywhere I go, my house is full of shells and rocks and all sorts of things. And I saw this the other day at a market, and I'm like, that is really calling to me. So I just had to have it. And who knows, maybe I'll start to collect more. There is like a certain power to it, and I do get a feeling from it. And whether that's the mind, it's okay. But use things like this, use whatever it is to help bring you back into this beautiful moment. And it's those videos of mine where I am speaking from that moment, from that place, that resonates the most. So it's everything that we do, right? From that place. Okay, so the more of us that start to access that place and get to that place and then hold that place and train it and make it a stronger part of our life, the more of us that can do that, then it's going to spread, and then we'll be able to help each other access that place, stay in that place. The more that there are unconscious people living in their heads in Maya, in the dream world, in the matrix, they can influence also. So I would say to all the light bearers out there, to all the people who are focusing on the love, you know, I'm so grateful for all of you out there, and going back to what this video was originally started on, is nature is always ultimately going to be balanced, right? There's going to be the snake and the rabbit, okay? And then our purpose is yet to be determined, although whatever we're doing is a part of it, and I believe that when we're aligned and when we're present, we are truly incredible, godlike, even you could say, we're really special beings, because I've got the rabbit, I've got the snake, but then there's myself, there's this human that comes in and is also part of it in a very interesting way. All right, everyone, so sending everybody out there all the very best, and mucho love and respect. Until next time, adios.